Welcome back to an off-season episode and just a bit of an update of where I'm at the moment in terms of off-season, in terms of what are the plans for 2025, and then what are the plans for other things in my life as well. So yeah, I mean, what am I now? I think I'm like 10, 11 weeks post-show, and since that point I've been running 250 milligrams of testosterone on its own. So after a show, you know, you've just been running your high anabolics, and I always think that it's a good idea just to give your body a bit of a chance to regain some sort of like normality. Your androgen receptors are taking a beating. To be honest with you, your whole body's taking a bit of a beating. So I like to bring things down again, just to allow myself a little bit of respite before pushing on again in an off-season phase. So the off-season phase is about to begin. I'm actually getting my blood work taken by Yorkshire Blood Clinic. That's on the 5th of January, so a few days from now. At the moment, we're like the 30th of December. So yep, I'm gonna have that done, and once I have the results back, I can build around what the bloods are telling me, and I can base my cycle off the back of that. I'm someone who needs to be a little bit mindful of prolactin, and my prolactin kind of shoots up quite a lot, so I need to be careful of using progestins, aka nandrolone-based steroids, and also my cholesterol tends to be quite high, so I need to be mindful of what I'm eating, of course, you know, saturated fats, but also the supplementation I'm taking, and then also using oral steroids. Typically, I try not to do that in off-season anyway, because it can sometimes mess with your appetite, which a lot of people don't necessarily know. I've found that it has done that before in the past. Also, that's going to increase my cholesterol as well by proxy. You know, when you're using different oral steroids, that's definitely a side effect you can get from that as well. So just things that I need to be mindful of, but I'll get my bloods done and then I'll do that. The annoying thing is though, what's so frustrating is that, you know, I'm on about 6,000 calories a day at the moment, and I'm already bored of food. And when I say bored of food, what I mean is I'm struggling a little bit to get it all in. I'm just not someone who has a good appetite. I've talked about this quite a lot on my channel, and it's a thing that I can't really avoid. So 6,000 calories I kind of maintain on that. I don't necessarily get any bigger. That's about maintenance calories for me, give or take. And you know, I might see a tiny bit up and then a tiny bit down. Yeah, I sort of like hover. I'm 131 kilograms body weight, so about 290 something pounds body weight. I'm fairly comfortable, but I'm pretty like at my near limit of food. And now the idea of pushing on in an off-season phase, so obviously, so you've got prep, then you've got post-prep, and then you've got your proper full off-season where you're pushing the anabolics, pushing food, you're actively trying to grow rather than just recovering from a prep. So yeah, the idea of now pushing on for another, let's call it like another like 10 to 12 weeks is a little bit daunting. Given my appetite as it is. So what I might need to do is I might need to pull back a little bit in terms of food, pull back a touch just to regain some appetite, maybe for a week, maybe 2 maximum, and then push on again. That might be something I have to do. Right, I'm gonna do before I carry on talking, I'm just gonna do a set now. I'm currently 3 exercises in on my leg day, and here is some hamstring curls at the moment. Right. So the other day, unfortunately, I was doing a squat movement, just over there, in fact, and yeah, I tweaked my lower back. Since then, I've had to be very, very mindful. All back exercises have been chest supported, leg movements. You know, just had to work around it. I'm kind of okay with leg press. I think I'm okay with certain single leg things. There's a belt squat over there as well, so I'm able to use that where there's obviously no lower back loading. So you just have to work around it. Obviously I can't RDL, I can't deadlift. I don't know if the sound quality is a bit weird. I think I should have probably done this video after. There's a little bit of a crackling, a bit of an interference going on. I'm actually going to sort out a new cable for the microphones today. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, I'm going to finish off my session and then I'm going to reconvene and tell you a bit about my plans for next year and the food that I'm eating for the off season. All right, as I say, back to it with the foods. So what I've realised in off-season, and I tend to lose routine a little bit, and I think this is something that I could advise other people to try not to do. Do your best to keep some form of routine. You know, when you're on prep, you feel like you're super focused. I think a lot of people can probably relate to that. You're waking up earlier, you become more efficient, a little bit probably cold and emotionless because you're so one-track minded. But you found that I'm super efficient, and I find that in off season I'm less so. So one of the problems is I wake up a little bit later, routine's broken a little bit, and then because I wake up later, food's pushed back, and then I'm struggling to get it in. So well, this is my meal 3, and we are about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, I mean, I could probably do with being on meal 3 by about midday. That way it'd be like a way easier day. I'm eating 6,000 calories at the moment. And yeah, my appetite is, it's really not on its arse. It's not that bad, but it's also not that good. I just, you know, I need to accept, and people watching this vlog, you need to accept, you know, if you want to get bigger, then it comes with discomfort sometimes. So I don't want to be eating this much food, but I do want to be a better bodybuilder, and that trumps it. So I just have to accept it. So it's not a boo-hoo, oh, poor me, get to eat so much food. It's not about that. It's like, you know, I accept that to get better, you need to do certain things. So that's that. Anyway, talking about other bits and bobs that I'm doing during the off season, whilst I'm not involved with bodybuilding. So I've been arm wrestling now. I don't know if you have or haven't seen on my other episodes or even on my Instagram. I arm wrestle as well. I joined an arm wrestling club about 1.5 years ago, probably. I've been into arm wrestling. You know, I guess some people are into F1, some people are into boxing, some people are, you know, into all sorts. I've been watching arm wrestling for the best part of a decade. And then finally it just came about. I just met some people at an expo, and they were at a club like maybe 25 minutes from my house. So I thought, fuck it, okay, cool. So I went along, and since then I've been doing it. And it turns out I'm actually not bad at it, you know. Obviously, been training for so long, got a base level of strength. You know, I'm longer, being 6'3", my arm is longer, and having a long arm is actually a benefit, providing you've got strength, of course, in arm wrestling. So yeah, I'm actually all right here. And I actually had a proper match on Sunday. We are now Wednesday, the 1st, by the way. Happy New Year. I'll include the footage of it. It gets released on YouTube. There'll be some commentary and all that sort of stuff, and you'll see it. So I'll put that after this. I did that, and now I've got some tendonitis. It's a weird one because people always assume you're going to break something, and you know, a bit like anything, right? If you went in and did a squat and you weren't prepared for that squat, you're risking your legs, right? You're risking your back. Or a heavy deadlift if you've not been warming up. Yeah, sure. If you've never deadlifted like 300 kilograms and then you just went to do it, the likelihood is it's not going to end well for you. The same with arm wrestling. You build yourself up. You practice a bit more. By the time it comes to having a match, you've done it for so long that, you know, the risk of breaking your arm is reduced because you know certain techniques on how to avoid injury. That being said, I'm wearing this. It's my wrist wraps, and I put it around here because basically I'm just trying to keep compression on my arm. My arm's absolutely fine. There's no injury or anything like that, but you get, like, as I say, like tendonitis in here. Yeah, it's sort of like the sideways pressure from when someone's pushing against you. So I've just been wearing this throughout the day. Look a bit stupid, but yeah. So I'm going to include that. I'm going to be arm wrestling a little bit more. I'm not arm wrestling instead of bodybuilding. I'm arm wrestling as a little sideline because I really, really enjoy it. I've been into it for a long time. And, you know, maybe when I stop competing bodybuilding, again, I have no plans to do that, but, you know, when I do, maybe arm wrestling will take over because, you know, you can be a good arm wrestler way into your 40s and 50s. And yeah, I mean, I guess just thinking of like longevity is something that I'll be able to do even if you've got like a dodgy leg or a dodgy back or whatever, like which a lot of people tend to get as they get older. I'll put the footage there now and then I'll reconvene afterwards.
And let's introduce our first puller of the evening. And this man is an absolute giant. He hails from the Bionic Strength Arm Wrestling team and comes to you at 6'4", weighing a massive 130 kilograms, with a bicep of 22 inches and a forearm of 18.5. Please welcome Rampage Ryan Mackins. A new life begins! 6'4", 130 kilos, the biggest man that Walden has ever faced. Mackins will have his work cut out. Davis in the green room.
Your shoulders good. Close your thumbs. Close your fingers. Ready, go!
Oh, big top roll attack there from Mackins, and that puts Walden to the pad.
Finish off. To the table.
As we go back to the table, referee Dan Earthquake asks the gentleman to take a grip
Centres here, close.
of Mackins from now. I don't know. We're going to find out, but not if he gets that wrist away. And that's another big hit, and that's a win, Ryan Mackins.
Get this off. It's 2-0 to Ryan at the moment. Let's just get this off safely each time.
2-0, Ryan Mackins.
Shoulders good, shoulder, that's good. Close your thumbs. Close your fingers. Ready, go! Okay, that's a win.
Oh, that's a win, Ryan Mackins
Safety.
with a win. 3-0 to the big man. Come in, Ryan. Stick that under your mouth. Well, bud, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
First match on Ultimate Arm Wrestler and Ultimate Arm Wrestler 8. You come away with a big win.
I didn't know what to think over the moon, to be honest. Speaking with him before, I feel like I gave a bit of my game plan away. I kind of was talking to him what I was good at, what I wasn't good at, but thankfully I was still able to get it anyway. So,
Your first pull with anyone in a big competitive level was obviously the man I just mentioned, Noah Burton.
Yeah.
You went to war in Birmingham. You went down in that match, but you managed to get the first pin. You seem to, since then, leveled up to me because that was a big win over Mert Walden.
yeah, definitely. I think Nick gave me a lot of feedback off the back of that match. Made a lot of mistakes. Noah figured me out really early on, and I just kept doing the same thing, opening myself up. And today I was just making sure to not do that again. So.
We've seen you in the trunks on the big bodybuilding stage. Now you're on the arm wrestling stage. Is the bug starting to nibble away that little bit more?
Oh, 100%, yeah. There's no doubt in my mind this is where my future lies. There's still a bit more left to do in bodybuilding, but I absolutely love it and I can't wait to do it.
Well, we can't wait to have you back, Ryan. Massive congratulations, buddy.
Appreciate it, Paul. Thank
And yeah, guys, Ryan Mackins, if you've not already done so, follow him on Insta. If you don't get your arm wrestling tips, you'll definitely get a good dieting tip, that's for certain. We're going to go to an ad and we'll see you in 2.
Yeah, so with the arm wrestling, I feel that little bit of discomfort. So it's been a little bit funny training, but 3 full days after the arm wrestling match now, and I feel pretty good. I feel like I'm good to go again now. So this is the thing that I'm just trying to, I have to try and navigate, because obviously I'm trying to make decent progress with training and also trying to progress the arm wrestling. And I do believe that it's possible with just a little bit of timing. Can you do both of them optimally? Probably not. But I can certainly keep the arm wrestling bubbling whilst bodybuilding will always take priority. Anyway, I'm on to my pre-workout meal. It's funny how on prep, I absolutely love this meal and I would never dream of drinking it. Like I would never, because it's so tasty and you savor everything. But now that I'm not on prep, oh God, I just want to get it in. Cream of rice, obviously from my sponsor, Complete Strength. Ryan 10 for discount if you do want it as well. So normally, again, this flavour is amazing to me. I either like sticky toffee pudding or caramel biscuit. Today is caramel biscuit. And then cookies and cream whey, again, Complete Strength. Now this combo, when you're on prep, is it's like a lifeline. Like I really look forward to it. It's like a real treat. It almost feels like you're not dieting when you're eating it because it's so tasty. Whereas now, I'm just going to shake it up and drink it as quickly as possible. So I'm going with 150 grams of it. As I say, I'm on 6,000 calories a day at the moment. And for some people that's like really, really pleasurable, but for me, it's not. And also, I'm not really gaining on that, so I know I need to push it up, but I'm actually going to be waiting on my bloods, which is Sunday. So once my blood work comes back and I know where I stand with that, then I can start to adjust. I'm going to push up steroids and I'm going to push up food as well. As I say, I might take a little mini dip just to get some appetite back before pushing. But certainly that's coming. The big push is coming. And it's going to be absolutely vital for my next time I'm on stage, this next push-up. It's absolutely vital, like really, really important. It's funny because as I've got older, I've realised it's kind of make or break. If my legs don't improve, because my upper body always seems to be big, like on stage, I was the biggest guy on stage. But that doesn't mean that each body part was the biggest. But I was the biggest in general. But that's not a good thing. My point being is, when you have something that doesn't quite match up, like my shoulder width and my back and stuff is really, really wide, but then because of that, my legs then don't seem to be as good. So anyway, the point I'm making is my legs coming up is make or break. If I don't bring my legs up in this next push-up phase, you know, for whatever I can do, then honestly, there's not that much point in me competing at the level that I'm at. I might as well step back and just do like smaller competitions and stuff. Because the level that I'm at now, it's either it's make or break. It's as simple as that. And I can't really sugarcoat it. It is what it is. So every single leg session I have now is absolutely vital. Today's back, which needs less work, but it still doesn't mean I take my foot off the gas. But certainly it isn't one of the main focuses. Shoulders and back are always marked as like my strengths in my physique. They didn't actually note down arms or chest in my most recent feedback. That was not a thing that was like a weakness necessarily. They said a little bit more condition on the glute and a little bit more leg quad sweep, which I agree with. I think both of those things are things that I need to bring up better. So that's that. Anyway, 150 grams of cream of rice and then 70 grams of whey. Cheers, meal 2. So it is the 11th of January, which means tomorrow is officially 12 weeks post-show. That means 12 weeks on minimal testosterone bloods tomorrow. So I will see what needs to be worked on and then work on that. Off-season breakfast, I've actually just changed it to this. Not sure I'm gonna get on with it yet. 1 minute. I can hear my cat meowing. Hello, mate. So, right. So, what do you reckon of this then, boy? So anyway, yeah, I've changed it from yogurt, granola, berries to bagel, bacon medallions and eggs. I've changed it to eggs, egg whites and oats. And something to make the oats a little bit more palatable. Again, it's not even for the calories, it's really not, it's just for me to for me to get it in easier. Some honey I'm gonna add to it. If he can have it for me, that'd be great. Would you mind? Yeah, so the honey's purely there to make it go down easier. I'm not even gonna count that as my calories, it's just, yeah, at this stage, my appetite is pretty shit. And what are we now? Well, it's around about 11 o'clock in the morning and this is my first meal. So, yeah, it's a bit of an endless cycle really. And something I've talked about on my Instagram recently. This is Encona hot sauce. Put on my meals. Yeah, something I've talked about on my Instagram recently. You know, it's okay to sometimes not enjoy something as much as other things. Like, it doesn't mean I don't love bodybuilding. It doesn't mean anything. I don't love eating this much food. I really, really don't. And I've said it probably a million times, but I think it's about trying to show the whole process rather than just, it's not all sunshine and roses. It's not all sunshine and roses. It's not. Sometimes it's not always straightforward. Now, prep I find relatively easy, and off-season I find relatively difficult. But it isn't the end of the world. Like, I want the end result more, so I just put up with a little bit of shit. People, some of my clients, they just love eating. In off-season, they absolutely thrive. And me personally, I don't know. It's almost like I've grown, but my stomach stayed as it was. So growing up, I was always like a slimmer guy, bit of muscle. I was like slim with a bit of muscle. It was kind of like, I was quite fast. I was quite a fast sprinter. I was fairly strong, like just without even going to the gym. I was like, I was quite big in my school and stuff like that. But I didn't particularly eat that much food. I was just that big because I was that big because of my genetics. What I wanted, I never held back as a kid, obviously. You see what you want. But I was always pretty slim. And even through school, I kind of had like visible six-pack in the right light, and I had like, you could kind of see some abs. I always had that, and it was never really something that I had to try for. And it's almost like, I've made myself into a guy who's like 130 plus kilograms. It's big by pretty much anyone's standards. And my stomach hasn't caught up. I still have that stomach of the guy I used to be. That's how it feels on it. It feels like I'm really forcing something that isn't supposed to be. That's what it feels like. And people assume that, you know, it must be really, really nice to be able to eat all the time, but it doesn't feel that way. And also I'm jumping back on cycle now. Yeah, so in terms of pushing up, so as I say, the calories are going to go up, but then also the steroids are going to go up. And here's my steroid bag. Yeah, so the bits and bobs that I'm going to be using. So I've got a whole host of stuff in here. I've got D-bol, anadrol, clenbuterol, tamoxifen, trenbolone, testosterone, masteron, equipoise, MPP. Yeah, so anyway, so what I'm going to go on. The things that I'm going to be using are these three here. So what do we have? And the goal with what I'm trying to do is trying to cover all bases. So the three main pathways within the body, the testosterone as your base, and then the DHT, which is the masteron, and then NPP, which is the nandrolone based progestin. So ever since having the gyno surgery, I can run testosterone a little bit higher. Masteron's a little bit harsh on the hairline, so I need to be a little bit mindful of that. I do notice the difference when I run high masteron. Not necessarily when I'm on it, but like afterwards. And MPP, I'll keep that fairly low. Again, I'm someone who's quite prone to high prolactin. So keeping your progestin low-ish is probably a wise move. Something else to take into consideration, which I don't think a lot of people do. Your start dose versus your end dose is not the same. To some, that might seem really, really obvious. But you'll kind of want to give yourself some leeway, some wiggle room. Right? If you think to yourself, right, well, I want to be on those three, I better just chuck them all in. It's like, yes, but no, right? Put them in at the lowest effective dose. Then your body will adjust to that amount and you can just slightly increase over time. So my start dose is going to be, and bearing in mind, I'm actually a very experienced user. I've been running steroids now for basically 10 years. My start dose and your start dose won't necessarily be the same thing, but I'm going to be running 500 milligrams of testosterone, 600 milligrams of masteron, and 150 milligrams of NPP. That gives me plenty of wiggle room. And over the period of time that I'm running this, maybe 10 to 12 weeks, I'll probably be able to double the dose on all of these. So I incrementally work the testosterone up to around about 1 gram, incrementally work the masteron up to around about 1 gram as well, and the NPP probably up to about 300. So my total androgen load is just over 2 grams, which isn't advised if you're a newer user. To be honest with you, it's not advised for anyone. Let's be real, these do carry a big risk. And I'm not for 1 minute deluded thinking that this is the safest and healthiest option. However, I'm willing to do it for short spells of time, and I accept the risks that are involved with that. Please understand, this isn't me advocating it for you to do the same thing. Anything that you do is your own decision, and it shouldn't be influenced by me or anyone else. But yeah, so that is my stack for the off season. I'm not going to be running any orals, I'll just be using this. So test, masteron, and MPP, and that's that. Time to eat my breakfast. Yummy.